Hadahu Dechtiv Ach Nifsha Mikirias Os. It is this contentiousness of Korach that is written in the verse. A rebellious brother is parted from his citadel of strength. What does it mean? It means that Korach had something, but it wasn't enough for him. Ach nifsha materias of that Korach shechola keneged Moshe. He stood up and rebelled against Moshe. Can you imagine that? Have you seen Moshe go up on the mountain and accept the Torah? And this is after that. He rebelled. Seeing Moshe split the sea. But ego is what the worm of ego in the person. And here the Midrash says that this puzzle, and you can't learn it by heart too, so all these psukim. What's the pasuk? Ach nifsha mikirias os, and it's translated here in the article. Just a rebellious brother. The word nifsha is rebellious. A rebel is parted from his citadel of strength. Korach had a citadel of strength. He had a high position. He was a Levi. And the Levies were singled out to do special service for the whole of the 3 million congregation of Israel. And they're the ones who did not serve the golden calf. But Korach, Shechola Keneged Moshe, Umorad, he rebelled. The Yorad Minakovay Chahaya Biyado. So not only did he not get the cover that he wanted to be the Kohen Gadol. Not only did he it should have been obvious to him that it wasn't Moshe who selected Aaron. It was God who selected Aaron. But Korach looked at it as a situation of nepotism. He chooses his relatives. And so he rebelled against Moshe. Umorad v'yorad min hakoved shehaya biyado. So he lost what he had, and he lost everything, and he lost his life. And we'll see. We'll try to get to the section that speaks about how he lost his life. The At Omer. How do we? What is nifsha? The Midrash asks. Ach nifsha. Just 4 words. Mikirias Os, which means a citadel of strength, and that his rebellion against Moshe, Ve'ei Nifsha, we're looking to give the explanation of the word Nifsha, Ela Meriza. Nifsha is a rebellion. Kamadat Omer, Melech Moab Pasha B. The king in the book of Kings, it says that Melech Moab Pasha B. The king of Moab rebelled against me. So we see that ומדיונים בבריח ארמון שאליס הארץ בריחך Adan Amon Shecholak al Moshe Be'alamokum. I'll read the translation straight from the art scroll, what it says here. Adahu dichsiv ach nifsha mikiryas oz, a rebellious brother. Korach wasn't Moshe's brother, but he was his cousin. They were from the same Shevet. Is his rebellion causes him to lose what he's got. He's parted from his citadel of strength, and brings that from Proverbs 18:19. For this brother, quote unquote, is Korach, who contended against Moshe and rebelled. And as a result, fell from the place of honor that he had. He held a great place of honor. Nifsha means merida, rebellion. Like we said, the king of Moab has rebelled against me in Kings 2. The Midrash now applies the second half of the Proverbs verse to Korach. Umedayanim bevriach Amon she'alas haaretz bricheha ba'ado ke'amon, and the quarrels are like bars of a palace. That implies that the earth raised its bars against Korach as though sealing him in a barred and a bolted palace. Shecholak al Moshe bi'al hamakom, because he quarreled against Moses, and what's worse, against the omnipresent, against God. And here the lesson for us is, when we're dealing with a holy situation, then we have to, we are people that our lives are, we believe in a creator who runs our lives, and in the bottom line is that what the will of the creator is done. It states in the Gemara, Hakol b'yedei Shemayim chutz mihilas Shemayim. Everything is in the hands of heaven except the fear of heaven. How are you going to be born? To who? A male or a female are you going to be? Are you going to be whatever talents you're going to have? That's all in God's hands, and you have to look at it like that. If I have a particular talent, can't brag. It was given to me. That's why Moshe was the most humble person, the most accomplished person in history, who spoke with God face to face, was also the most humble person in the world, because, as we said many times, he felt that he had a sensitivity that was endowed in him. Again, brag about that. He thought if somebody else would be endowed with a sensitivity that I was endowed, he'd be better than me. So what do I have to be boastful of? And so he was the most humble person. So we Jewish people, we and we're put on this world with characteristics, some good and some bad, and that's done because some people are born stingy, and some people are born spendthrifts. And the Rambam writes about this, that you gotta, you can't be a miser, and you gotta give charity. And some people can't stand to give from what they have. Believe from what they have. Who gave it to you? The God Almighty gave it to you. He said what to do with it. He said to give 1/10 to charity, and you give a 20th. You're even better. So what are you holding it on to? Why aren't you giving? Uh, some people are humble, and some people are arrogant. Arrogance is a very bad midah, and you are given. You know, it's a given to you. So, but it's given to you to get rid of it. Hey, anger. Anger is a terrible midah characteristic, and there's a time for anger, but you have to act angry, not be angry. Anger is sort of a denial of God. You're denying, you're angry about something that happened to you. It happened to you because God wanted it to happen to you. The person that caused it, hey, he's got an issue with God, and he's got to do tshuva. But you were destined to have this problem, pain, or it happened to you. So you got to learn not to be angry. The story is told. There's times when a person has to be angry, where a mentor has to be angry, but not be angry, act angry. And there was a Tzemach Tzedek, who was the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, when he looked at a situation and really it made him very angry, and against certain people who were creating the situation. He said to himself, hey, I've got to look this up in the Shulchan Aruch, if this is a situation that I should be angry and let my anger be known. But hey, if you're angry right away, and you have to go and run to the books to see if you're allowed to be angry in such a situation, certainly that cools your anger. And you got to know when to, and you can't just right away get angry at somebody or something. So that's so that's the situation that you got to root out of your nature. I'm an angry man. I spoke to an angry man, a rabbi who was always angry. He said, well, I can't help it. That's the way I am. I said, no, you can't help it. That anger wasn't given for you to preserve and keep it. And that anger was done for you to modify it. And anger gets people into terrible situations. Anyway, so this ego and this Korach lost what he did have. So so it's the pasuk starts with by Yikach Korach. Korach took. So the Midrash asked, what is Vayikach? What did he take? El Mashiachas הדבורים רבים שנמשכו כל גדולי ישראל והסנהג והסנהדרוס אחריו במשה. He drew people away from Moshe. Moshe was a leader, and he took wise people. Says Kol Gedolei Israel could make that mistake, and he drew them away from Moshe. And so taking, what did Korach take? He took the leaders of Israel, and he brings it. He means took people. Like it says, Vayikach Moshe ve'Aaron es ha'anoshim ha'ela. Moshe took the people who were to become from the 70 leaders, and Moshe was told by God, Kach es Aaron ben Bonav ito, take Aaron and his children to be Kohanim. He took them Vayikach Korach, that Shemizborim Rabbi Moshe Feller. Hey, Korach was an orator. He was a glib. He was a good talker, and he had persuasive ways. And hey, remember, he was no bum. He was a holy man. B'chein Amar Kui Machem Dvarim. So that with words. Shevitvorim Rabbi Moshe Libam. He brought their hearts. And that can happen. He, by saying, Rab Lechem, Yekikola Am Kedoshim, Obama Tislasu the whole congregation stood at Sinai and heard, I am God, your God. This wasn't a situation of denying belief in God. He didn't want to say, he said, but then he said, precisely, we all witnessed that revelation in Sinai, and died every time God said a word and were brought back to life and all. We went through that too. So why are you making yourselves greater? We saw God. Oh boy. What do you mean you saw God? Everybody saw God like Moshe? They were in touch with the Creator like Moshe was? Look, Moshe's sister, we learned, was punished because she talked with Aaron about conduct of Moshe that shouldn't be. That she heard from Zipporah, Moshe's wife. We know the story that Zipporah said, those poor 70 prophets, that's the end of their marital life. And she said, we were not told by God that we can't have a marital life, intimacy between a husband and wife, even prophets. That's true. Yeah. But the one exception was Moshe. And they performed the mitzvah of be fruitful and multiply. They had two boys. Okay? Obviously, Yoshua was greater connected, even though he wasn't Moshe's son, but he was the inherit of the leadership of Israel. But Moshe had two boys, and Moshe was always ready and open to conversation with God, and for that he has to be pure. And only Moshe was ever told that, because intimacy is a mitzvah of kedushin, of consecration. That's what a man says to his wife under the Choparei Mekudeshes Liba Tabazu. That's Moshe Israel. You are consecrated to me with this ring, and they have to give her something, and now the custom is to give a ring. And so, but her mistake was, you don't question Moshe. You don't question the Rebbe. In every generation, there is a Moshe. And that is a value and a principle in Torah, that God gives every generation a Moshe. And it says that specifically in the story of Purim, that Mordechai was the Moshe of his generation. That's what it says in the Talmud and the Midrash. That Mordechai, he wasn't as great as Moshe, but he was the leader of a generation, and every generation has a Moshe. The Baal Shem Tov in his time was the leader of the generation. And we certainly saw in the Rebbe that he was and is still the leader. And we hope to see the Rebbe again. But so and Korach, but Korach, Vayikach, he with his oratorical, you hear it, a great speaker, which obviously Korach was. He got the minds of the people, even the greats. And he made this rebellion. And he went, he was, what was his main gripe was, what was his main gripe? Al Yedei Elisafim ben Uz Achi Aviv. That who was the prince of the tribe of the Levites? Who was the prince? Who became the head of the tribe of Levi? V'nasi beis ab mishpachas hakohasi Elisafim ben Uziel. And hey, that's not fair. Amar Korach, that's what Korach said. Arba achim hayu achei Abba. There were 4 brothers who were the sons of Kohath. Shneimar u'bnei Kohath, the sons of Kohath, who was the son of Levi, were Amram, Moshe and Aaron and Miriam's father, Amram. Yitzhar was the next. Hebron was the next. And Uziel was the last, the youngest one. So he told the people, there's nepotism over here. It's not fair. Amram Abchor. Okay, we'll give it to Moshe. He was the oldest one. So Zachar Aaron ben his son, Amram's son Aaron, Zachar Ligdula, he merited greatness. Aaron got the kahuna, Moshe lemalchus, and Moshe got the kingship, which was the king of Israel. But who should get the third position? The Nasi B'nai Kahas. Miroy Lito as Ashnia, the next level of honor. Lo Hasheni shouldn't be the next, the next son of Kahas. Shenemar of B'nai Kahas were Amram and Yitzhar, and Korach was the son of Yitzhar. And even though Shel Yitzhar, I'm Yitzhar's son, I should have become the head of the Beis Levi. And even though Shel Yitzhar, Hayisi Ra'ui Li Yosh Nasi Al Mishpachti, I am the one who was fit and entitled Yosh Nasi Al Mishpachti, to be the Nasi, the prince, the leader over my mishpacha, mishpachas b'nei, all the sons of Levi, of Kohas. But what did Moshe do? Also, Moshe Uziel. He went and picked out to be the head, the chairman of the family of Kohas. Cotton Shelachiaba. He was the youngest. And he becomes great. He's more important and he's bigger and he's higher than me, although he comes from the second brother. I come from the second brother and he comes from the fourth brother. Ani cholek alav. Umavato kol ma shenasa al yado. So that was his contention, and I'm going to therefore undo what Moshe doing. It's not fair. I deserved. Okay, I'm willing to recognize that Amram, who was Kohas's oldest son, was the first son. Okay, Moshe and Aaron get the honors there. Aaron is the Kohen Gadol and Moshe is the Melech. What's next? The head of the Kohasi family. I should get that because I'm the next brother, Yitzhar, and he didn't pick me. He snubbed me. He went over me, and he went to the. He took from the fourth son, the youngest son. From אני בנו של יצהר, האיש רואי, יש נשיא על משפחתי. I am the one that was be qualified, fit to be the head of משפחתי. והוא also בנו של Uziel. He made a Yitzhar from the son of Uziel, who was the kid brother, who was the youngest one. Cotton Shalaki Abba. He was the youngest of all my father's brothers, and he is put above me. And we see in this the lesson that we can learn, and that he was a me person. He looked for his in his ennoblement and in the eyes of the people. And we are a godly people. God calls the shots. The only shot that God doesn't call, like I just said, is that if you're going to be God-fearing or not, that's up to you. And Korach was not God-fearing. He should have known that Moshe that was the same mistake that Miriam made, and she was punished. But it was not. She retained her greatness. Not only that, but the whole congregation of Israel, all those who went out of Mitzrayim, 3 million Jews, had to wait a week until she was released from the quarantine of tsuras, of this leprosy-like disease that she had. And that was the whole Klal Yisrael had to wait for one person. That is something that we learned from what a great person she was. But she unfortunately had the same mistake, was bitten by the same snake that the Korach was. That Moshe doesn't do anything by himself. He is a vessel to God's will, and he listened to God's will. If this fellow, Elisaphan ben Uziel, the kid brother, the youngest brother, was made the head of the tribe of Kohath over Korach, that was God's will. And by calling this nepotism, that this was Moshe's will, you're not only fighting against Moshe, you're fighting against God. And in his whole revolution, it's called fighting against God. Korach's rebellion was against Moshe and Aaron and against God. And then I'll quickly go over what so he grabbed the whole congregation and he went to humiliate Moshe in front of the whole congregation because he was so burnt up with this envy that was in his heart. ויקח קורח מקשיב לביו מן העניין ועשו להם ציצית. The ending chapter of the Parsha of Shlach as the Parsha of Tzitzis. Kopatz Korach v'omar leMoshe. Korach jumped up in the face of Moshe and he said, "Hey, what's the law? Talis shekula tchelis. You have to put on the one sitza, and each sitza to be wound around of tchelis. That's a bluish color. But what if the whole garment is that bluish color of tchelis? Ma'useh petura min hatzitzis. Is that also obligated to have tzitzis? Amar lo, chayeves b'tzitzis. What has one got to do with the other? This is what we're commanded. And if the whole garment is blue, so be it. And you still have to have a blue tzitzis in the 4 tzitzis that you have on each of the 4 corners. Amar lo Korach, talis shekula tcheles ein poteres atzma. A talis that is entirely blue, doesn't it exempt itself from having tzitzis of tcheles? The whole talis is of tcheles. Madoch Arba Chutin Poteris also. Shouldn't it be exempt from having tchelas tzitzis if the whole garment is blue? Then he came up with another thing. By Ishmael Ishmael, a house that is full of Torah books, Talmud, Midrash, of course, scripture. Moshe Potter Mina Mezuzah. Shouldn't that be Potter from two parchments pounded onto the door called the mezuzah? The mezuzah is the doorpost. Amalokayim mezuzah. What has it got to do? How many foreign that are in the house? God commanded to have a mezuzah. You can have all the holy books that you want in the house, but you got to have a mezuzah on the doorpost of your doors, of your rooms, and your gates. So, oh my Lord, but hey, so, and this is happening in front of all the people. And Korach is trying to humiliate Moshe and saying that this Torah is not from God because it's not intellectually whole. Look at what he answers Moshe. When Moshe tells him, you got thousands for him, and the whole house has for him, and they're holy, yeah. But you still got to have a mezuzah. It has only two parchments from the Torah, two portions. So he answers, Amalo kol Torah kula masayim v'shivim v'chamesh parshios. There are 275 chapters in the Torah. Ain't a poteris shabais. That doesn't exempt the house from having a mezuzah. Parsha achas mezuzah poteris shabais. The one the one parsha from the Krishma that is in a little mezuzah that that's on the door of the house. By the way, it has to be on every door that has a lintel and two doorposts, two posts. Even if there isn't a door there, you have to have mezuzah if that if you have a lintel and two side posts. And he, remember, what is the great talent of Korach is oratorical ability to sway people. And he said 275 parshos that are in the Torah. That can't pater. That can't, you're saying that doesn't exempt the house from mezuzahs. A doorpost having the one parsha, the parsha of mezuzah on it, that does pater, that exempts it. Come on. Lo nistabisa alehem. You weren't commanded this. You're doing it from your own mind. And he's yelling this at Moshe. This is one of the things. He took he gathered the people and he spewed venom against Moshe, trying to embarrass him by these two laws that a cloak that the commandment is that you got to have a four-colored garment, has to have four tzitzis, and there has to be one tzitzah of tchelis, of blue. And he came and laughed at this and said, "Wait a minute, what if the whole garment is blue?" And by blue, I mean the special blue. It's not just any color of paint, and we don't. We don't have tchelos in our tzitzis. There are some people who do wear tchelos around their. I've seen that. Maybe you've seen that, because there was one Rebbe who felt that he found the little sea creature that exudes that color of blue is from its blood is that color. But most of the sages disagreed with it. And the next time that we're going to have tzitzis with tchelos, with one string of tchelos wrapped around each tzitzah, it's going to be when Mashiach comes. He'll tell us. He's the next Navi. And then it will be revealed, and then we'll have tzitzis of tchelos. But a whole blue garment, the tchelos doesn't exempt the garment from tchelos and tzitzis. And then he tries to humiliate Moshe with this din of mezuzah. You have to have one part. It's actually two chapters, but it's one part of the parts of mezuzah. That's in the Shema that you have to have on your door. So smart aleck Korach comes and says, "Wait a minute. This comes from your own mind. You weren't commanded that. You got a house full of sporim and chumishes, and there in the chumish there are 275 chapters, and they have God's name in the holy chapters, and that you say, I asked you if still the needs of mezuzah, and you said yes, and I'm telling you, no, that's from you thought this up. God wouldn't tell you, hey, don't tell Moshe what God told. Anyway, so this is what and he brought this is what he gathered the people and rallied them against Moshe. And Moshe and it just says here, Amru Chachamim. The Chachamim said, Chacham Gadol Korach. He was very. The Chachamim say on him that he was a great Chacham Gadol. Umitzuune Ha'aron in the camp of the Israelites. What was his job? He was from those who carried the Aron. Remember, the other vessels were in carts, in wagons, but not the Aron. Shenemar Livnei Kahas Lo Nasan. Moshe didn't give a wagon to the Bnei Kahas Ki avodas hakodesh aleim. They had the holy work of carrying the Aron at the Bnei Kohath. And Korach was from the Bnei Kohath, but Korach and Niftar ben Kohath was one of these. So he was a holy man. Only holy men could carry the ark. כשאמר משה ונוסנו על ציצי סכון פסיל תחילת, מיד ציווה ועשו מוסעים ב50 תליסיוס תחילת, וניסתנו בהם עשו מוסעים 50 ראש הסנהדרין שקומו על משה. He right away made that they should have garments of blue and not have a tzitzit in them. And Shlema vayakumu lifnei Moshe v'anoshim ibnei Yisrael chamishim u'mosayim nisiei Eda. They rose against Moshe. This is what Korach did. He rebelled them, and who did he get? Chamishim u'mosayim 250 nisiei Eda. Princes of the congregation, leaders, Kriyei Moed, they were called to all the meetings. Amar Korach ve'aseh mishta. Korach got up and he made for them a party, a banquet, v'yisatfu b'talisha shel tchelas, and they all put on garments of tchelas. And Bo b'nei Aaron lito matanosehem chazeh b'shuk. The Kohanim came to get their portion, which was the chazeh and the shok, portions of the animal sacrifice. Amdu bin kenegdam. These 250 chiefs of the staff that Korach rallied. Amaleh mitiva eschem mitokach. Lo Moshe, who commanded you to do this, to get this portion? Klum lo diver makom bach. Did God tell you? Moshe told you. You don't listen to him. They came back and they told Moshe, these guys, there's a rebellion in place. Halach the 5 son Moshe went to appease them. Miyadam do Kenegdo listed up against him. Lekadmo lifnei Moshe. Anashim ibnei Israel chamishim u'mosayim. Who are they? Elishur ben Shdeur, B'charebron. They were all leaders of the tribe. Anashim ha'ela asher nikbu b'shemos. They were great. Apapi shelo pirsumar akoshu. Nosam simanehan. And in scripture, it doesn't say who the 250 was, but the Midrash is saying who they were. They were holy people that were previously, they were appointed by God to be the leaders of their tribes. But he turned them upside down, and they died in these 250. There's a whole... Here's a very interesting thing. Vayikach Korach, the next Dalit, Lokach Taliso, he took his garment of all blue, and which it didn't have pieces of blue in it. He ran to his wife to take to if she agrees with him. Shama Kodesh Baruch Hu Moshe. When God said to Moshe, Kachas Levim, take the Levim, B'tiharto, and you have to purify all the Levim. How do you do it? Because Sasa Lehem Mataram. This is what you have to do. How do you make the Levim? This was before the service of the Mishkan, and the Levim were going to serve. And God told to Moshe, Kachas Levim, and purify them. How do you, Kishama HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moshe, God told Moshe, take the Levim and purify them. The Taram, this is what you should do to purify them. Tar al kol psoram. You got to give them a shave. You got to take all the hair off them. They have to be bald, and the hair from their beard, everything. They have to have a totally. It would go back, but that was in the beginning. That's what they have. They have to be shaved, all the hair. And he had also came the Korach, so he did it right away to Korach. And Korach, when he was a head Levi, he went around and they didn't recognize him. He's still Achzor al Yisrael. So because he was shaved. He didn't have a beard. He didn't have eyebrows. Amrulo, mi asal. Who did that to you? Amala Maisha did it to also be. Beloy ay ella nitalani biyadi biragli voyamanithin I say. And they waved me. This was a big miracle. Aaron waved each one. Like you would wave a lulav, and this is a big miracle. You're talking about 22,000 beam in one day, and Boy Manifinosi Omali Hareator Tor, and that you are now Tor. So in other words, he gave him humorously the Levim. He gave a shave and a wave. That was part, but God told him to. The Levim had to, that was part of their purification. Hooray, after Torah, and Torah, and then Moshe said that you are now Torah to do the Avodas Levim. Behaviors Aaron Achim. This is what he's telling his wife. But Aaron, his brother, he didn't give him a shave and a wave. No. He dressed him up, Kitala, like a bride. Well, Shiva oil more, and he put him in the oil more, and he gave him the 8 garments of the Kahuna. They had jewels on that, the breastplate and the shoulder plates. So when Korach, who was shaved and waved, Miyad Hiskrivu Soine Moshe, he's got his boy Israel. Hey, they didn't hear God command Moshe this. Moshe heard it. They said it can't be. Sure, this is really a case of nepotism. Your brother, you dress him up like a king, and the Levim, you shave them and you wave them. That's embarrassing them. And he riled up the Jews against Moshe. Ba'amru Moshe Melech. Moshe is the king. Aaron Achiv Kohen Gadol, and Aaron is the Kohen Gadol. Ubanav is Gani Kahuna, and his sons are the associate Kohanim. The Arba Matanas LaKohen, and a Kohen gets specially for special gift from the Karbonos. They get the food, special food to the Kohen, and Levine don't get the church. They're commanded to get Meiser. Aber Yad Bayakilu al Moshe. And this was part of his oratory. Amar Rabbi Levi, Ba'oisa Shah Kinis Koydech Adosoi. After his wife said, "You," he gave a shaver and a wave, and his brother, he dressed up like a king. He ran to all the people in Israel. Kines Korach Adoso, all his group, he gathered them. Ba'amalam, here be some Alenu Masra Yeshem Meshivah Mitzrayim. He told Moshe, "You've given us a burden greater than the burden that was put on us in Egypt. We're better off." Look at these rebellious words. We were better off in Mitzrayim, denying all the suffering that they went through in Mitzrayim. Now God took them out miraculously through Moshe, led the people out. And now look at what an ego costs. A guy was burning with ego. Ubikshu Lisoklo, they wanted to stone Moshe. When Moshe heard that rebellion, he fell on his face. Amar Moshe, Lo Melucha Ani Mevakes, I'm not looking to be king. And he was not looking to be the Kohen Gadol Aaron. But Aaron, Mahu Kisalino Allah, why are you complaining against Aaron? Amar Moshe, Rebbeinu Shalom, Lokach Shibisanu, didn't you command us this? Va'ata hakre v'lechas Aaron Achicha, Bezban Avito. Bring me closer Aaron Achicha and his sons. V'arei oindim kenegdenu, Lordenu, and Moshe is saying they're going to kill us. There's a mob. Well, you know, it's a tough situation, these mobs of protest. You got to stop them. Omar, he told them, so then comes Bokar V'yeda Hashem Esher. Okay. In the morning, tomorrow morning, God will show whom he chose. You are denying that to me that God told me to do this. This is not from God, this is from me. That was the substance of the argument. In the morning, we'll have a clear mind and do this service, and God will show you who he chose. This is what Moshe told him, we'll know in the morning. Amar this is what he meant. Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. God said to Moshe, Im niskaptu kol chatumei ha'olam, all the magicians of the whole world, the sorcerers, chatumim, ubikshu la'poches ha'boker la'erev, and they would try to change morning to night. Lo yuchlu, they can't. V'chashem she'avdalti bein or l'cheshech, just like I made a separation, a difference between light and dark. Achivdalti Aaron lagdisho. Similarly, I separated Aaron to make him the Kodesh. The Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies. Miyad Vayishlach Moshe Likol Dosan Rabiram, and Moshe called the Dosan Rabiram were from the Bnei Eliyav Vayomer Loinala. They were from the people that didn't show, and they were important. They were leaders, and Moshe wanted to testify to the truth. Just here, that God, Moshe said, God told him to say, but God is saying this, Baker, you can't change, make night Adam. Baker, morning, of all the sorcerers and wise men of the world will come and try to change that. Won't be able to. That's why he was saying, well, you can't change Aaron. Aaron is the Holy One. And Moshe called Dosan and Aviram, Abnei Eliyav, Vayomer Loinala. They said, we're not coming out to see you. Lo nelech v'lo navo. We didn't say we're not going to go. We're not going to come. Ain't chief God elo lo nala. We won't go up to. And they said that's the fulfillment of Shepik Seal Maklo, the mouth of a fool. Does him Maktelo. The mouth of Seal Makatelo. What's the word back there? So it said these two were from the leaders of the revolt, and they had no interest in the priesthood. That they just their interest was to revolt. They did not say we're not going to come or we're not going to go. They said we're not going to go up, and that is a fulfillment of Shepik Seal Machatelo. This is what King Solomon, the mouth of a fool brings destruction to himself. What was it, the fools? What did they say? They didn't say we're not coming to your summons. We're not gonna go. We're not gonna go up. And they said, yeah, you better believe it. You ain't going up. You going down. Because it's like it says, and this is a mimer. This is a mimer from Mishlei. Pichil yachatelo. The mouth of a fool will bring him destruction, because they didn't go up; they went down, 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 and the earth swallowed them up. Like that's the punishment that came to Korach. Let's see, what time do we have? Okay, I want to I'll get to 8:30. I'm cutting, but I want to get to something here. It says one of the things that Moshe answers them. Lo aleinu tlunosechem. Your complaint is not against us. Ki al Hashem's on God. God told us to do these things, and you're denying it. And Amar Rabbi Abuam, this is a strong statement in the whole Jewish teaching. Ko Rabbi, anybody who thinks opposite thoughts on his Rabbi, in our generation, who's the Rebbe of the generation, the Rebbe, is Kilu Maharacha Eshkina. It's like he thinks against the divine presence. Shinamar Vayidaber Om Be'Elokim Uba Moshe. The nation spoke against God and against Moshe. They said, so in the speech, they asked Moshe, why did you take us up? Loma Elisha, it says, Vayidaber Ha'om Be'Elokim Uba Moshe. And that says anybody who thinks that this is the work of the Rebbe, the leader of the generation himself, and like I said, there was a Moshe B'chol Dor. It's like his Mahara after the Shekhinah. He's thinking against God. Because Moshe and his successors, the Moshe in every generation, and the scholars, say what divine being tells them. Second. Okay, I want to bring you to there. It says that they took three. This is very important. Maybe you know it, but it's a very important part of the Midrash. There were three people that Korach went to who were important in this revolution. And Dustin Abir, and there's one named, it's the only time he's mentioned, Own Ben Pellis. He was Own Ben Pellis, but he's not heard from later. He did not get killed in the destruction that, what happened? The earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the whole the whole nation that was with Korach, and there were 14,700 people who died in that, and the 250 ones who took the test of bringing Korach, the Keturah into the Holy of Holies. They were burnt. They died with burning. The rest died. They were swallowed up. And there's much to say about that, but they were swallowed up. But there was one person who was escaped the whole punishment, and his name was Own Ben Pellis. And so the Midrash says, Lama Nikra Shmo Own. Why was he called Own? Shekol Yom Ba'aninus. On is like a mourner. Like all his days were like mourning. Mourning, in sorrow. Ben Peles, Ben Shadashimo Plos. He's a guy that wonders were worked for him. Amar Rab, Ein Ben Peles, Isto Hatziloso. Who saved On Ben Peles? In the beginning of the scripture, he's mentioned, but not later. He did not die, and not in the burning of the 250. He wasn't part of them. He was going to be, but he wasn't, because his wife saved him. His wife saved him. Amrole, she told him, look, my dear husband, what do you got out of this whole machlekes? Amrullah, she said to him, Malachabade Plukta, what are you doing in this whole argument? You won't get nothing from it. If Arnubi turned out to be the Kohen Gadol, would be proven that God chose him. Okay, Aaron is going to be the Kohen. Aaron Kahana Rabba, I'll tell me, you will be just a student of Aaron. And if Korach will come, Korach Kahana Rabba, he'll be the Kohen Gadol. I'll tell me, you ain't going to be the Kohen Gadol, okay? So what do you got to get from this whole deal? So, don't go. When they come to give for the big machlokes that they're going to go and humiliate Moshe and all that, stay out of it. You're not going to gain anything from this. You ain't going to be the Kohen Gadol. No way. You'll be a follower of Aaron if that turns out that he's the Kohen Gadol, or if it turns out that Korach is the Kohen Gadol, which he wanted that. You'll be a Talmud, a constituent, but not the Kohen Gadol. Amrale, Yadaina Kule Knishta Kadisha. We know that this whole congregation of Israel are holy. Desibahu Kiko Ha'eda Kulam Kadeshim. The whole nation are holy. Ma Abarat. So what did she do? Ashkise Chamra say. She gave him wine. She gave her husband wine. Here, have a cup of wine, strong wine, and she made him sicker, and he fell asleep. She put him in bed. She sat down. He Ubrata, listen to this, she and her daughter, Bisosra the Messiah, they let their hair down, they uncovered their hair. And a woman is not supposed to uncover her hair publicly. And they sat at the door of the tent, their tent, and Rabbi Yosua Baba Hivrate Misasel Messiah, they let their hair go down, and so they were without any hair covering. Command the Asa Bishvil On, anybody who came to call On, let's go to the rebellion, come on On. They wouldn't go into the tent. They wouldn't go near that. Given the Chazena, when they saw her hair uncovered, whoa, we should go into such a place. Here these people want to uproot the whole Torah system and the whole Moshe brought to them. But they were, she said, look, then I got to wait that they're not going to come here after my husband. I'm going to sit at the door and leave and take off my kerchief and let my hair show, me and my daughter, and that's not serious. And they're not going to come because Koha Kedusha, that doesn't, that way, Koha, Kulam Kedoshim, they're all holy. So they wouldn't go near a place where there's not sneers. And here the wife and the daughter have abandoned sneers. The hair is showing, hair is down, showing. Wow, we can't look at that. We can't touch. Hey, they went back home. They went back and they didn't insist that he come. And he was sleeping because of the wine she gave him, and he was sleeping peacefully.
That's so interesting.
Huh?
That is so
Called
very
on to us, everyone who came Bishvil On to call for On to come and join the rebellion. Even the Chazé, when they saw women with uncovered hair, oh, they can't come near that house, that tent. Adachi Vachi Avinu. And during he slept through the whole thing. They all were swallowed up by the words. But who saved all? His wife. She told him, what are you getting out of this? And, you're not going to be a Kohen either way. So you're not going to have that Kedula. And this is what it says in Mishlei. Chochmas Nashim Bonsa Besa. The wisdom of women builds the house. Su Ashes Ishto shall own. This is the wife of On. She saved her husband and her whole household. And opposite of that, and the end of that pasuk is Abelis biodeh terasena, and a foolish woman shall break her house with her own hands. Su Ishto shall Korach. She told him, Korach, honey, you're a loser. He gives a shave and a wave, and his brother he dresses up like a king. Come on, and she egged him on to the rebellion. So this is a pasuk in Mishle, a pasuk to know. Yudalad Aleph Chochmas Nashim Bonsa Besa. The wisdom of a woman builds a house, but a foolish woman tears her house down with her own hands. So with this, we'll say good Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi, and good Shabbos. Thank you.
Uh, this Shabbos is a very important, and Gimel Thomas is a special date in the Lubavitch calendar, especially this year. Gimel Thomas is the yahrzeit of the Rebbe. But this is the 30th year tonight. It's already 30 years since the Rebbe passed away. And of course, the Rebbe is very much amongst us, and millions of people go and visit the OL, the cemetery where he's buried, and throw notes on his grave. And great miracles, stories I could tell you, and be like, well, and what happened? It's going to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said that's what you should do 50 years before when his father-in-law, or 70 years before when his father-in-law passed away. And people asked, what do we do for direction now? And said, you go to the same place and you go to his plot in the cemetery and you drop a note and the Rebbe will find a way. he'll know that you were there and that you're asking him this and this, and he will find a way to help you. And that's what we do. So this on Tuesday, everybody should write a note and get it to the Rebbe. You can address it to the Rebbe with what your desires, what your needs are. And this is an auspicious day to bond with the Rebbe. And uh, there are all over, they're commemorating the yahrzeit. My son, Rabbi Mendel, was invited to England to bring with that community and we'll certainly have a parade by us in Lubavitch house on that night. And I don't know exactly. We'll let you know exactly when that will be, but you should take advantage of this day. Gimel Thomas, the Yortzeit of the Rebbe. This is time to make uh, resolutions to upgrade your observance and send a note to the Rebbe with your mother's name. If you're Jewish, your mother, your name and your mother's name. If you're not Jewish, your name and your father's name. And
It's 8:40.
okay, so I have to go to shul shortly, but I want to wish everybody and we'll be hopefully we'll be in touch with you more about how we're going to commemorate. Well, Thomas, here we had a beautiful dinner with a great speaker on Monday in commemoration of the Rebbe's Yahrzeit. It's the week before, but that's when we could get this tremendous speaker, and everybody was there and enjoyed it very much. Uh, so we'll be in touch, but make note of that day and see to get a letter over to the Rebbe. And there are all kinds of, you can mail it to the 770, you can mail it to the cemetery. And um, if you can call me and I will get all the information about it. It's online and where you can send a note to the Rebbe. This is an important day, and you write what you need. And people need before help. You write it to the Rebbe, and that's just like when he was alive, and even more than when he was alive.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
let
you.
me wish you all a good Shabbos, and we'll be in touch and like till next week. Okay?
Good job.
Good Shabbos. All the best.